Welcome into Spotlight on College Football. Week 2 in the books. Kind of an uneventful week. You had a lot of very uneven games. One big kind of shocking loss, which is potentially a season derailing loss for one of the predicted front runners in the Big 12, and a big rivalry game back at it after 11 years as MU and KU played a really competitive, entertaining game, with Missouri getting a win in the border war. Gerald Bentley Alex Campbell here on Sports TV Plus, coming to you on all sorts of great streaming apps: Sports.tv, True TV Plus, Carbon TV, and if you're watching on cable systems in the Maryland area or on the app, Watchy. Appreciate you tuning in. Just quick, as we take a look back at the week that was, there was a lot of uneven games. Ohio State taking on Grambling, obviously not a competitive matchup. Julian Salen went 18 of 19, and the only pass that wasn't completed to a Buckeye was an interception.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like the guy who was the top recruit in the country 2 years ago with Alabama. Arch Manning
against Grambling,
5 and 4 touchdowns against Grambling. Arch Manning against San Jose State, who falls to 0-2. Scores 28 points in the first half, 295 in the air, 4 touchdowns. So you look a lot better when you're not playing a team equal to your level.
Right. Yeah, kind of like the
had to, maybe play an exhibition game.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar. I've always said a lot of these games are exhibition games because, look, here's the reality of it. Like, from a lot of these Group of 5 conferences, even with the expanded 12-team playoff, there are teams that could go completely undefeated in a year and still not make the playoffs. And if that's the case, I'm sorry to tell you, you're not part of that league. You're only part of that league by association. You're really an exhibition team. And I'm thinking, like, because I'm thinking like a MAC school or something. Like if Central Michigan goes undefeated, I'm not sure they make the playoffs. That probably involves like a win over Michigan State. You know what I mean? That's cool. But unless Michigan State's ranked in the top 15 at the time, it's not going to matter much.
Illinois beating Notre Dame.
Right, exactly. And they're not. And so that's my point, is that, I think if you look even deeper than that, like, the team that the East A and Texas A&M that I just saw. I mean, that's an insane opponent for Florida State. They end up beating them 77-3. I mean, that's an FCS school.
Yeah. I mean, Grambling, Ohio State, it was 70-0, and it could have been more. They outpassed Grambling 306-55.
Yeah, I mean, Grambling is
FCS out of that.
Yeah. Another game that looked like an FCS school against a major power, but it wasn't. Oregon against Oklahoma State. Wow. And I said it last week that, like, I'm telling you, the Oklahoma State
69-3.
Oof,
yeah,
they really it did get just as ugly as I thought it would.
Yeah. Worse than Mike Gundy's haircut. It's the worst loss that Oklahoma State has had since before Oklahoma was a state.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long time.
It's a long time.
Gundy came out and said, we're not, paraphrasing him, something to the effect of, we're not into that NIL stuff. Huh? What? That doesn't bode well for the rest of the season.
Yeah, they're not. A few years ago they had T. Boone Pickens, and they had this big. That would have been the time for NIL for Oklahoma State. But now he's passed, and there's nobody. There's no magnate like that right now for Oklahoma State. So that's the hidden message behind what he's saying. They don't have an NIL person. They don't have Oklahoma State is a billionaire. is a sometimes power, but they don't have a lot of billionaires that are that passionate about the program that are graduated from there.
Well, is it time for Mike Gundy? Because he's well over 40 now. Is it time for him to step aside?
Two guys that I think need to step aside for the betterment of their programs, betterment of college football, are Mike Gundy and Kirk Ferentz.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, because God, the Iowa game, man, they're setting offensive football back again. Set it back decades.
It's just the
Yeah,
same thing.
the state mandated game in the state of Iowa. Iowa State gets the win, but 16 to 13. The Hawkeyes threw for 83 yards.
Yeah. With Mark Gronowski. Yeah. Rocco Becht looked pretty good on the other side. And see, that's the thing. Like Iowa State wins the way that Iowa wants to win, but Matt Campbell does it in more of a pro style offense way. That's more of like the way Michigan wins. You know what I mean? Where there's a lot of running, and there's I form, and it's like that. But they also put the ball in the air enough, and they have a strategy. It's not even just that Iowa doesn't pass. I mean, they threw it a similar number of times. It's that their passing attack is woeful. I mean, it's
3-yard slants.
It's bad. It's just bad. Slants and drags all day. It's tough to watch. And that's why I say, like, it's got to be time for Ferentz to go. Because here's the deal. You could say the same thing 2 years ago about any one game for Iowa.
Yeah.
4 years ago about any one game for Iowa. Last year about any one game. And then this year, same thing. It's the same problem. It's the same year after year. And, I mean, they haven't had – what's the last quality quarterback they had? Ricky Stanzi?
Ricky Stanzi, yeah.
Right.
And Iowa State, obviously Brock Purdy, and then they put 2 receivers into the NFL last year.
Yeah, Brock Purdy. Rocco Becht is the next Brock Purdy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say it now.
But on the downside, a team that was expected to play at the top of the Big 12, Kansas State, losing to Army. That's following only getting a 3-point win against North Dakota. You got to be really worried if you're looking at the Kansas State Wildcats because, man, 1-2 with the loss to Army and not expected to be a great Army team. Army obviously always plays with discipline. They don't beat themselves, but K-State should have enough talent that game's not in doubt.
Yeah, and I think it's got to be tough. I mean, because if you look at it, it almost looks like Avery Johnson has regressed, and I think
very much so.
That has to be. The team looks like it's kind of gone the same direction, and that's troubling. And it's who you lost to at this point, right? I mean, because you two losses won't kill you or anything, but it's the Iowa State loss is whatever week 1, but Army is you can't lose that game. That's an ugly loss because you're going to lose probably another one, maybe 2, 3 more the way you've been playing so far in the Big 12.
Well, and your win was by the skin of your teeth against a team that you should have rolled.
Yeah.
So not good. Let's get to the border war. Missouri, Kansas. Missouri comes back and wins after being down 21-6 after the first quarter.
Yeah.
They outscore KU 15-0 in the second quarter to go into halftime tied. And then 21-10 in the second half. They win 42-31. Bo Pribula looks like maybe the best quarterback Missouri's had since Drew Lock. He throws for 334 yards, 3 touchdowns, and Missouri definitely, it took a little while, but they did what you thought coming in would happen. The SEC team would kind of push around the Big 12 a little bit because the SEC team should be bigger, stronger, faster. And as it turns out, at the end of the game, they were. Good to have this matchup back at it. First time they played in 11 years.
Yeah, that's awesome. And when you can see those classic rivalries renewed, Next season, Notre Dame plays Michigan State for the first time in a long time. Speaking of rivalry renewed. Really, Missouri, like you said, they just pushed him around and kind of dominated the game. You look at just like the rushing yards alone. This is one staggering number: 261 rushing yards for Missouri, 31 for Kansas.
Yeah, KU's top rusher was the quarterback, Jaden Daniels, 9 carries for 20 yards. So that's not a Lance Leipold offense. That tells you lost the game at the line. Eli Drinkwitz, Missouri's coach, in a good mood after the game, gave his first take on the rivalry game against KU.
Yeah, first just want to say how much I appreciate the fans. Atmosphere all day from SEC Nation to kickoff to fourth quarter. I think our fans really showed out. This was the Missouri that I've always believed in and dreamed in. But I'm going to challenge them. This is the expectation moving forward. It's not just about beating Kansas. It's about being like this all the time in the SEC play. And so I'm going to encourage our fans to continue to do this. All right, it shouldn't be about a team that we just play once. It should be the expectation of our program moving forward that energy and passion shows up all the time. And incredibly, incredibly proud of our team.
You could tell he was excited. He went on. It was like a 30-minute post-game press conference. But got to be feeling good. Peribula looked really good for a guy who was a run-first quarterback at Penn State last year. He gunned the ball.
Yeah, Peribula looks really good. He looks really good. Yeah, like you said, maybe the best quarterback there since Drew Lock. Like, he looks really, really good. I think they're in a great spot. And they got the right coach. I mean, and he's just so good in the presser, just like that. I think he's exactly right too.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's exactly right. Bring the energy for the SEC games as well.
Now let's wrapped up week 2. Let's look ahead to week 3. Not a loaded schedule. Clemson, Deebo Samuel taking on Georgia Tech. Clemson 1-1, going up against the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech. Playing in Atlanta. Georgia Tech 3-point home dogs. Can Kate Klubnik lead the Tigers to a win? I mean, they obviously lost a high-profile game, an excusable loss to LSU, but do they get back on the wagon here against Georgia Tech?
Georgia Tech's pretty good. Haynes King's pretty good quarterback. That's going to be a tough game, and they're well coached by, I think, Scott Key there. I don't know. This is another one where I'm going to cop out. I'm going to say Clemson wins, but Georgia Tech covers.
Yeah, man, I could see that. I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia Tech gets the win, because I just haven't seen it with Kate Klubnik. I don't get the trying to push Kate Klubnik back up to the top of the quarterback ranks, because I just don't see
it. Similar to DJU, right? And I think now we're getting kind of a pattern where, man, like the quarterbacks were really, really good coming out of Clemson for a number of years, and it just seems like it's kind of fallen off. Because like DJU he never lived up to the hype. I feel like Klubnik has never lived up to the hype.
No. Yeah, I don't think so either. Talking about not living up to the hype, Alabama 1-1. They take on Wisconsin, the Badgers. Surprising line, 21-point favorite for Alabama. It's at home, but I don't know. I don't see that. I mean,
yeah,
I think I'd lean towards Wisconsin to cover that.
Yeah, that's a lot. Danny O'Neal is probably one of the best quarterbacks Wisconsin's had. I mean, in quite a while. Wisconsin doesn't always have a even competent quarterback. Sometimes it seems.
Yeah.
Danny O'Neal is great. The transfer they got in this year. I think they can definitely get within 3 scores. That's the most. 19 is a ridiculous number.
Yeah.
Alabama hasn't done anything. With DeBoer, they have not done anything. I mean, they've not won any significant games. They've underwhelmed at every turn basically under DeBoer so far, and I mean, it sucks, but it's true.
They did pummel the Badgers last year, 42-10. And Wisconsin comes into this game beating the Red Storm of Miami of Ohio, the Red Hawks, actually, 17-0. And their heated rival, the Middle Tennessee State University Blue Raiders, 42-10. So it's not like they've played a high level of competition, but yeah, I just think they can keep it a little bit closer than that. Because Alabama, there's tons of pressure on them.
Yeah,
Missouri,
exactly.
I understand they're ready. I mean, my God, if the headline on CBS Sportsline is this a must-win game for Alabama? I mean, my God, yes.
Yes,
You lose to
absolutely.
Wisconsin when you're a 21-point favorite. Kalen DeBoer may as well just leave.
Right. Yeah. Seriously. I mean, and man, does he look like dead man walking in the presser or what? I mean, he just does.
Yeah.
I mean, they're hard to watch at this point. They're hard to watch.
Peeling the curtain back a little bit, it's always a bad sign when the media is in there for the press conference, which usually, about 10 minutes after the game, they're ready to go. The media is in there and it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and then the press conference starts. That's a really bad sign.
Yeah.
And when you do that on a professional team, they're doing it to give the players time to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the coach went in and vetted to him, but then he's just sitting there killing time so the players can get out of there, so the players don't have to face the media. Because you listen to the coach first, then they open up the locker room. So the late starting press conferences already for Kalen DeBoer, not a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of uncompetitive matchups of teams that made it into the top 25. Auburn takes on South Alabama. They're 24.5-point favorites. And Missouri takes on Louisiana. Missouri at home. They're 27.5-point favorites against the Rambling Wreck of Louisiana. I'm sorry, the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana.
There you go. The Raging Cajuns.
Doesn't matter. They could beat Louisiana and Louisiana Tech. Missouri's going to win. Auburn's going to win. Do they both cover the 4-score lines? 24.5 for Auburn, 27.5 for Missouri.
Missouri, yes. Auburn, no.
Fair enough. It's definitely a strong line.
Yeah, definitely. We got Miami, South Florida. South Florida suddenly a good game after they upset Florida last week. That was crazy.
Mm-hmm. South Florida, yeah, they got to be the favorite right now for the Group of 5 school to make it into the playoff.
Yeah, I mean, if like I said, if they can run the table and prove that they're not an exhibition team, there you go. But this is a big feather in the cap game. See, they're lucky that they get to play a few of these big dogs. You know what I mean? In the Florida circuit that they play here. If they can beat Miami, I mean, all bets are off. They're not going to beat Miami though. They're just not. Miami's too good, especially up front on the offensive line, and they're just not going to be strong enough to compete. We just talked about as an SEC team pushing around a Big 12 team.
Yeah.
This is pushing around a Sun Belt team.
Yeah, because you just don't have the line. I mean, you don't have here.
Or are they Conference USA?
About a Big Ten team. Joshua Simmons, when he was talking during training camp about getting into a starting spot with the Chiefs at left tackle, he said, well, it's not that much different than what I practiced with at Ohio State. And then he rattled off 5 guys who are all in the NFL that he practiced against.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what you get at these high-level SEC schools and Big Ten schools. It's not just 1 or 2 players. It's not Boise State with Gentry's going to go into the NFL. It's these 11 guys are going.
Right. All 11. Yeah. That's what I always count when you look at the big matchups. You know what I mean? Is how many NFL players do you have on your roster? Normally you can tell. You know what I mean? A lot of those, like you look at a lot of those, like Alabama Saban years. I mean, you're talking 15 kids out of the 22 starters.
Mm-hmm.
Just a crazy number. So normally you look at those high stakes games. That's normally kind of how it works.
Oh, very much so. Ohio State this year has, according to some draft analysts, all 11 defensive players are NFL draft rated.
I believe
which
it.
is just insane.
I believe it. And most of the starting 11 is too.
Mm-hmm.
Most. Certainly the receiver.
Yeah. A team that only has 2 guys who are considered NFL draft worthy, the Carolina Tar Heels and Bill Belichick, they take on the Richmond Spiders. They're going to win the game.
Right.
They're 21.5-point favorites. If you're betting on Carolina to cover, you're insane.
Yeah, don't do it.
You need the 1-888 bets off. Don't bet on that game.
That's right.
Because they're not that good.
Yeah, no, the roster is just putrid. That's the thing, is that the roster is just terrible. And I don't understand. Just close your eyes and picture Bill Belichick in some kid's living room trying to convince mom and dad that he's the right pick for their son. I don't get it. He's not. That's not. I'm not saying he can't be charming. That's not really his mode. I mean, that's not. That's
I don't
it. Doesn't
think he's doing it. I think that's probably Mike Lombardi.
you think
or
so?
An assistant coach. Yeah, I mean, he hired.
Well, and
he
then
brought his personnel director from the NFL to be his GM.
all the boosters and you know how college works. It's a lot more of a dog and pony show than the NFL is. The NFL is much more, business only. Whereas college, there's a lot of pomp and circumstance to be concerned with, and it doesn't seem like he's really going to be able to dot the I's and cross the T's even with the pomp and circumstance, let alone excel at it.
Now we'll see. Maybe he'll get his footing under him, and obviously they're going to look better against the Richmond Spiders than they did in week 1. Couple of most of the games are just uncompetitive this week, but a couple of games that are. Notre Dame taking on Texas A&M in South Bend. That's your primetime game on NBC. Notre Dame is 6.5-point favorite. They're 0-1. This shows how much it helps to be ranked in the preseason top 25. Notre Dame 0-1. They're still ranked 8th in the country. Texas A&M 2-0. They're ranked 16th, and they're a 6.5-point dog.
Yeah. They'll flip flop.
Surprise you if A&M wins?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Marcel Reed has been much, much more impressive than I thought he was going to be this year. You saw him last year. He was mainly just a running threat. Man, has he really come on as a passer? A&M's pretty good, man. The A&M is pretty good. And it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same issue that Miami poses, where they're really good on the offensive line, pretty competent at quarterback, and talented on the outside. You know what I mean? It's one of those where I could definitely see Notre Dame losing. Dame losing, and then you could pretty much pencil A&M in the top 10 at that point.
Yeah, they would have to go. Another SEC game, conference game, LSU, number 3 in the country, 2-0, with that big win against Clemson. They take on Florida, who just got chomped by South Florida. 1-1 Florida. LSU wins this game, right? They're 7-point favorites. I think they win this going away. It's in Death Valley. It's at Baton Rouge. That's a tough call for Florida coming off of an embarrassing loss to an in-state rival. Yeah,
and you got to imagine it's been so up and down for Napier. That's tough. I mean, I can't imagine this. Can he get back up the carpet very easily after that loss, especially like you said, going into Death Valley? It's gonna be a huge, game, big atmosphere, and LSU is just really, really, really good. Nussmeier is miles ahead of DJ Lagway. Miles ahead of DJ Lagway. And how much of a repeat does that look like with Lagway here and Richardson in the NFL? I mean, and again, like if you look at Clemson and kind of their downfall, and it's the quarterback. If you look at Florida, and it's like you're clearly pursuing this type of quarterback, and it's clearly not translating in the conference you're in.
Yeah, and Nussmeier's not the amazing, super elite athlete, but he's a guy who stayed in the system, is developed, and may well be the top quarterback in the country this year.
Oh, I think
he's got the arm talent.
Yeah. He's my favorite to win the Heisman. I would that was
Mhm.
one of my futures picks. He is my absolute favorite to win the Heisman.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see it. I mean, there's still time. There's time for Arch Manning to, run up some stats lines, but
Oh, but that's the
it's going to
thing.
be hard when you get up against the SEC schools.
If Arch, if that's going to be the unfortunate part because there's so much hype behind Arch. If he does end up putting up, he has a huge, turnaround and ends up having a great season, even if Nussmeier is step for step with him, Arch will absolutely win it just because of the fanfare.
Hmm. Yes, absolutely.
But I don't think that happens.
No, Nussmeier's going to have a really good year there.
Yeah.
They seem to be rolling. And then, how about the game behind me, Tennessee and Georgia?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tennessee over like the last 3 or 4 years has only lost like 3 games at home. 2 of those 3 games have been to Georgia. I, it's a tough matchup. It just
Number
is.
16, number 5.
Yeah. It's a tough matchup. I gotta take Georgia. On the road here. I'm not sure what the number is offhand, but
4 points.
Yeah, 4 points. Yeah, I'd take Georgia in the 4.
And Joey Aguilar's been I think, a surprisingly good quarterback addition.
Yeah.
For Tennessee, coming over from Appalachian State and UCLA, third school, but he's been good. 535 yards, 5 touchdowns against a couple of chump schools, and now you get real competition. Georgia's offense has been shaky.
Mm-hmm.
Does Georgia have enough with Gunnar Stockton to stay at the top of the table in the SEC as they've been accustomed to the last few years?
No, I mean he's going to have to get more efficient, and they're going to have to trust in him to really push the ball downfield more if that's going to happen. It's pretty clear that they don't want to push the ball too much. They're going to have to get to that point where they are stretching the field a little bit to compete against kind of the top brass of the SEC. Really LSU. I think if they're going to get past LSU, they're going to have to figure out a way to put some points on the board, and I think that includes stretching the field. Right now, you can load the box against them and really kind of limit their offense. They're so good up front that they can still win. It's kind of reminds me of Michigan a few years ago. Like if they're so good up front, they could still win if you do that. But they would be much better suited if they could just push it a little bit. And I think they're not willing to do that with Stockton for whatever reason. And I think that's indicative of how the coaching staff feels about where he's at.
Well, don't you think they want to play a more conservative style? I don't think Kirby Smart really wants to open it up that much, but
no, not necessarily. But I think especially sometimes against these lesser teams, I think you need to do that, even if it's off under center play action, deep throws, just because you're going to need to. When it comes to, like I said, when you play a game against LSU, you're not going to be able to control the trenches against LSU. It's going to be at best a back and forth. And if that's the case, if you can't win consistently up front, you can't win. It's again what we talked about going back to the NFL show is that you can't win on the margins very easily. So that margin against a team like LSU is going to be much, much slimmer. Down the line, and of course in the SEC, I mean, I am not looking right at their schedule, but they're going to play some other incredible defenses. They're going to be able to, like I said, load the box and really limit the offense.
Sure, 100%. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up for the week. This is kind of an uneventful week in the schedule because, well, we talked about it maybe being the best 0 week ever. You're paying the price right now with this week because here's all the blowout games that weren't scheduled last week. Let's go ahead with our champion of the week here.
Hey guys, it's your girl Ash by Elegance, and you're watching me on Wrestling Spotlight.
So, who's the champion of the week this week?
I'm going to give it to Brent Venables. That was a huge win for Oklahoma. And really, I mean, a guy who's on the hot seat, things are looking a little different now. Oklahoma has kind of a chance here. Mateer looks really, really good. So I think things are looking up for Oklahoma and for Venables, at least at the moment.
Well, and I'll go with the University of South Florida because, man, they were the group of 5 school that was really kind of running forward. Now, this is going back about 5 years ago, and then they've had a real rough stretch. 2 big wins at knockoff Florida. Huge win for them, and really sets them up well at this point if they hold serve in their conference, which I mean they should. They could potentially be looking at a playoff spot.
Oh yeah, I mean, you look at the way they beat Boise, 34-7, and then they come out and win at Florida. If they can even keep it close against Miami and then run the table in their conference, they have a strong argument, I would say, for the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, and rough start for the Gators.
Yeah, rough, real rough, and it's going to get worse.
Oh yeah, because now it's SEC season, so
right. That's why you can't lose those games. It's like talking about that loss to Army. It's like that's why you can't lose those games. It's going to get worse.
Yeah. You're in one of the big 4 conferences. You have to win.
Yeah. Look, tomorrow Florida plays LSU.
Yeah.
So and then Miami and then Texas and then Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Those are the next 4 games. So.
Yeah, and it doesn't get easier. Well, hey, let's wrap it up here on Sports TV Plus for a more in-depth look at some of the betting lines. Alex, where can people find you to take a deep look at some campus bets?
Campus bets on YouTube. Just search campus bets on YouTube through 2 weeks. 7-3 in the Blazing 5, so doing pretty good. It's all against the spread. Actually, there was one total in there too, but mostly against the spread. But yeah, 7-3, so we're doing pretty good. Campus bets on YouTube. We'll kick the episode out normally on Friday, right around like lunchtime or so. So tomorrow around lunchtime.
Okay, and stay tuned right here to Sports TV Plus. You can also see Spotlight on KC Sports. I'm joined by the top-rated afternoon drive host in Kansas City, Chris the Playmaker Stimson from Hot 103 Jams. And we are talking about the Chiefs' shaky performance, the Royals kind of scuffling through the end of the season, and took a deep dive into that KU-MU game, as well as a little Kansas City soccer with Sporting playing out the string and the Kansas City Current dominating the NWSL. That's right here on Sports TV Plus. Check it out on all these great streaming platforms, and go ahead and download that True TV Plus app too, so you can take us with you anywhere you go.
Anywhere.
It's on the Apple App Store and on Google Play. Have a great night. We'll see you back here next week.
Adios.